the stream, but I can't hear it.
Yeah.
I hear myself just saying I can't hear it.
A forest gnome. That sounds so cute.
She is pretty cute.
Okay.
Cute until they shank you.
We are back in. Let's go ahead and start that over. Sorry, guys. We're going to do it again. I'm actually going to go in reverse direction because I realized that Aaron Joy, your character, we're going to actually roll a couple of stats for on screen like we did with the other characters. Okay. So we'll do you at the end and just smoothly roll in.
Sounds great.
And if you'd like, Aaron Joy, you can change your character's name on the window. On the prog window.
Yes, I want to do that.
So let's do some
yeah, thank you.
Yep. So let's do some boilerplate. If you are one of our avid regular listeners who is also telepathic, just pretend you did not hear this part. If you are not, then you are hearing this part for the first time. You don't need to pretend. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world that we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we're telling at the starfallcollective.com. Also, you can listen to the podcast of this, which is a much smoother and more streamlined telling than I give here. You hear a lot less typing, and it's more interesting in that way. You get the drama all condensed. We are back with a new episode. Let's find out who's in this episode. I am Sir Robert Burbridge, a father and entrepreneur, and I am the host of this season's story. With me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Why don't we start with Matt, since you're right at the top.
Hi, I'm Matthew Talamini. I am a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew TALAMINI.com. I play the shirtless wizard, Diamondback.
Good. And Jared?
My name's Jared. I am playing Yoshka, one of the Menuhin Wayfarers, and he's a performer who prefers persuasion to deception, and deception to intimidation, and intimidation to fighting.
Mm-hmm. And fighting to persuasion.
Ooh.
Full circle. Belvari?
Hi, Belvari is a young druid who doesn't want to do any of that stuff and just wants to fight. No, he's fine doing other stuff. He is also constantly amused and confused by how loud everyone is talking. They're just so loud.
Sounds good. Josh, why don't you go next?
Golb is the loud one whom Belvari was referring to before. He is a
you're just one of them.
Yeah, but he's the loudest. He's approximately 7 feet tall, full of joy. A little difficult to understand at times because he speaks common with a weird, archaic, giant accent. And he is now shimmying about in a scarab beetle armor outfit and still swinging that good old big rock of a maul. And when he's not caber tossing his good friends, he's just trying to help out however he can.
Good. And Aaron Joy.
Hi, I'm Aaron Joy. The person live in Durham. My character's name is Nano. This is her first time joining the story. She's a forest gnome who is recently out of the city town in which she has lived her whole life. She was a grandmother to multiple generations of humans in that town, and like one generation of gnomes, 2 generations. And she's recently out on her own, and I guess we'll get to meet her as we go along.
Sounds good. So we'll start actually with Nano, your character. We, as we have done before in the past, I think we actually didn't do this for Gulb, but for the other characters, we roll stats on camera, on live on mic so that everybody can see what's going on and we can prove that we are the honestest folks around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we go ahead and do, I guess we have to do, you've already created your character. We've already given her everything she needs. What she doesn't have is any personal attributes or hit points. Why don't we go ahead and create those?
All right. I have her page pulled up in D&D and Beyond, and I have the dice on the screen. What shall I roll?
Let's do your hit points first, which, if you give me 1 second, I'm just going to go look. I'm going to go into the editor as well so I can see what we're looking at. I think you need to roll a 1d8. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah. What class is she?
She's a cleric.
Yeah.
2.
So she starts with 10 hit points.
Mm-hmm. And what's the... So it's, sorry, first level is 8 plus...
You get your
that. And we'll get your con modifier in a minute.
con.
So let's go ahead and... That's great. So you got a 2. We'll figure out your hit points in a minute. Let's run to your abilities, I guess it is. I've currently, just so we can finish, I set them all at 3. Hopefully that is not what they actually are. And let's go ahead and roll. We're just going to roll 3D... What did I just had us do 3D6, right? Or
No,
did I do
it's
4D6 drop 1?
3 best ones.
Yeah, 4D6
Okay.
drop 1.
All right. Here are all 4. Go. Oh, dear. Is that right? Where's my 4th one?
It's all in there. You
Yeah,
got-
there it is. A 1, a 5, a 1, and a 1. Okay.
Wow. Okay, you got a 7 for that one.
Yes, indeed.
Yeesh.
All
Well,
right.
she is a
That's
gnome.
great.
Maybe she's just not super strong.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
possible.
True.
What
Okay.
does that give you? -2 or -1?
Pray I
-1.
need not toss you.
If she went down to 6, it would be -2.
Gotcha.
Okay, what else do you have, Aaron? Let's do another
I don't
one.
know. You tell me.
Just do another 4D6.
Okay. Do. Go. Okay.
What
I
were
think
those?
there's one bias in this one.
I saw a 9 this time instead of an 8.
1152.
Yep, a 1-1-5-2.
So you've got a 152, which is an 8. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
What
intense.
one's that one for?
You don't have to choose yet. You get them all written down, and then you choose where they go.
Okay.
Oh,
get
really? I didn't get that.
Oh, that's
did
right.
them
We
in
just did them in
order.
order, didn't we?
It was
I
brutal.
think we did for the first
Yes.
time. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, you got strength and dex are 7 and 8.
Okay.
Well, what you said the first time was that one of them we can switch around. One of them, if we want, one of them
That's
we have to roll
right.
straight.
That's right. Did you
Oh,
do?
I wanted to do it the most brutal way for my character.
I feel the same way in general. Aaron Joy, did you switch Davina's around or did you not?
I took her just as they came.
Oh, then you can switch these around.
Okay. It's hard to imagine a gnome that has an 8 dex, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Four of the D6s again.
Yep. Come on, something good.
Maybe you used up all your ones.
Big numbers.
Nope.
Hot
You
dog.
got a 1 in there.
Yeah, that'll work. What'd you get?
It's a
15.
3 5.
555, 15. That's a good one.
Nice.
That's when you do want to one. If you're going to get something, you got to drop that. Whatever. Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
A droppable one. All right. Next one.
Okay.
5, 3, 1, 5. That's a 13. I'll take it.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Let's do one more.
Gotten,
Or 2 more.
that's the first one you didn't get multiple ones. No, it's like
I did still.
multiple ones. No ones. No ones.
All right. 13.
What, you had a 1-1 in that one?
I did.
Yeah,
5, 5, 3,
1.
1. Yep.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Last guy.
Now you can get all 2s. Almost.
3 through 3, 9. Okay.
All right. This is an
Didn't
interesting
get a
character.
1.
You're very polar. You've got three
Yeah.
stats that are not very great. Well, one of them's just average, and then two of them are kind of dipping down. But then you got three stats that are actually pretty strong.
Yeah, I think that my character is not going to have much strength. Let's give that the 7.
Okay.
She's a tiny, tiny girl.
Constitution, by the way, just as an aside, is not a size-based thing. It's how hardy you are, and it affects your hit points. So up to you on that one. I just wanted to let you know. Don't think that because she's small, she has to have low Constitution.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, she's a cleric, so wisdom is probably going to be
You're 15.
one of the main strengths that you want.
You're going to be casting your spells with your wisdom modifier.
Will I? Okay. Then let's make that one big.
Yeah.
I can take the 15 as wisdom.
What does her hair look like?
Awesome.
Curly or straight?
It's like you're
Curly.
And
Let's
does
see.
she have like a headband, or what, does she wear anything on her head or face?
Why do you ask?
An eye patch.
Reasons. Just reasons.
Reasons. Yeah, she does happen to have.
vision.
She has a whole outfit, everything going on that includes a head thing.
Okay, so we've got.
And Diamondback only has half an outfit.
I could trade,
That's true.
share some clothes, cover them up.
So
Okay,
what
so
else do you
7
have?
for strength. Let's give her one of the 13s for Dex. I kind of feel like, what with her oldness, she should have some intelligence.
Well, intelligence isn't wisdom is what she would have more of at her age.
Okay.
But
Also,
these are
yeah.
kind of. Sorry, go ahead. You go.
I was just going to
Yeah, I'll
mention
take
you
the-
probably want Dex to be high.
I do want Dex to be high. I've made my 15 is wisdom. One of my 13s is Dex.
Gotcha.
7 is strength. So I've got an 8, a 9, and a 13. It's a tough world. So I think I will make her Constitution be the 13. I know I have some help with charisma with one of my thingies, so I'll make her charisma be 9 and intelligence be 8.
Okay. And a charisma of 9, by the way, Aaron Joy, has no minus modifier.
Okay,
That just means she's normal.
great.
Yeah.
9
So
through
if you-
11 is just typical. Just
So
very.
if you get +1, one way of thinking about that is if you get +1 to your charisma, then putting the 8 charisma would give you no minus for intelligence stuff, and then no minus for charisma, just to kind of game it.
So I guessed well in my choosing. Good.
Okay, good. Let's go back to your hit points real quickly, and it just says that your
I think Jared was saying do the opposite of what you did, but I'm not certain.
Pardon?
I think Jared was saying make your intelligence 9 and your charisma 8 so that you would get +0 instead of -1.
Oh, I'm tracking. Yeah, let's do that. Good plan, both you guys. Okay,
and
charisma
aren't
of
there-
9.
Don't
Charisma
gnomes
of 8.
have- What are the gnome ability bonuses?
Charisma and Dex, right?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
advantage on some things.
Dexterity is +1 for. Oh wait, no. That's
Well, if she's making this in
Plus-
D&D Beyond, which I guess
+2
she's
int.
not.
I am, I think.
She's got +2 int.
okay. Awesome.
It'll
Okay.
get automatically added in the D&D Beyond.
Yeah,
But she might want to consider it when she's
Yeah.
making these
Right.
decisions.
int goes up by 2, so you might actually go the other way.
Back to 8 of intelligence and 9 of charisma.
Yeah, because that'll make
Sounds
your
good.
intelligence 10, and your charisma will be closer to being boosted. It just
Okay.
depends on how you want to do it.
I trust you guys. Sweet.
Okay. Your hit points, it says, I was just looking at it, and your stats, it says your level 1 hit points are actually 8 plus your con modifier.
All right.
So you don't roll a.
Yeah,
You
apparently
get
not.
the full damage die for the round one.
Oh.
As a forest gnome, your dex is going to go up by 1, but we may have already talked about that, and I just missed it.
And Aaron, what's your con
So-
modifier? Aaron Joy?
Con modifier. Looks like a -4.
That doesn't sound right to me. Did you save your...
No, I don't know where to go to enter those. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
Where
no
do
problem. Abilities.
Abilities that are across the top.
Yeah, just enter them in there.
Okay. So instead of strength -4, I've got a strength of 7,
That sounds right.
like that.
Just
Okay.
enter in 7
I'm
into the
clicking.
box.
I don't know how to do that. It keeps rolling the dice for me.
Why don't at the top where it says manual slash... Oh, sorry, it says... I don't know. Choose a generation. Let's see. Oh, no. See where you're clicking roll? I'll tell you what.
Down
actually,
here?
I can't see your screen. So let's do this.
Are you?
Tell me what your
Okay.
strength is.
My strength, it says
No, just tell me
in the
what you-
box is a -4 and below it there's a 3.
Oh, I'm
little-
sorry.
That's because everything's
I'm in your
set at
character
3
editor.
right now.
Look in your character editor.
I'm sorry? Character editor. Oh. Oh.
I think you might be on a finished character sheet.
Yeah. You need to go to where you were, where it says edit your character. Do you know how to do that?
I did it like a minute ago.
Year.
Click the
Okay.
little gear
I'm going to
next to your name.
characters. I'm going to the characters. There it is. Nano edit.
There you
Okay.
go. And abilities at the top.
I'm so glad we can edit this out. Sorry, any live audience.
Yeah, no big deal.
Abilities.
That's what they're here for.
Now we're talking. Okay. Yeah, I'll bet. 7 for strength. 13 for dexterity. Constitution 13. Intelligence 8. Wisdom 15. And charisma 9.
There we go.
All right. Sweet.
And just to
Now,
sorry, go ahead.
now shall I just go back and look at things?
Yeah, just push the back
Is
arrow.
this where I'll change the hit points also?
Yeah, put the back arrow 1 button. Push back arrow on the
Okay.
previous next
There it is.
little
Hit
thing.
points.
Yeah, and your hit
Manage
points.
hit points.
And it's already actually set them because you entered your modifier. You entered your what your constitution is, and it gave you your hit points. I believe. Let me look. Hold on. Sorry.
Okay. It says rolled HP is 12. I actually rolled an 8. It's got HP modifier of nothing.
Yeah, and your con is 1. I just put an 8 in, and so now your hit points are 9.
Sweet. Okay.
Good.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get into it. Good deal. So, Josh is showing us. I can't quite see Josh. It's far away.
Too far away.
Oh, he was making a portrait
I'm trying
of
to
your
draw
character.
a
That's why you
curly
wanted to
hair
know
with a
about
head
the-
face and gnome ear, but
You should be able to see my little character person I picked in a minute.
oh, good.
That's-
Finally, okay.
I mean, if you can. I
I'll
don't know.
start over when I see that. I'll use that as a reference.
All right, everybody ready?
I was born ready.
Let us do it. Let's visualize world peas.
I'm visualizing them like a whirlpool of split pea soup.
So, when last we gathered here, we just finished with our first up close and personal view for you, the listening audience, with the Iron Bell. Garriott, when he heard the Iron Bell coming, you will remember Garriott is the town leader, as it were, not really quite a mayor, but at least the senior most and most self-possessed of the town. He heard the bell tolling into in the distance and cautioned everyone, "You young men, get in here." And as he listened further and he heard some caterwauling out beyond the town wall, he sort of let down a little bit and said, "Oh, it's just that idiot Yat." right? So he let you know that you could feel free to come on out and see what was going to go on with Yat, but he did caution you that he used the colorful phrase, "Where the dog squats, the flies gather," referring to the fact that wherever Yat was, Griffith was sure to be nearby. From the context you picked up, that Griffith is more or less Yat's boss. You know how this works. You've all been in this world. The way it kind of goes is, as you're traveling, as they're not as you are, as they are traveling around, a tribute patrol consists of a pack. That's what they call themselves, a pack. And there's a pack leader. In this case, it would be Griffith, and he takes with him a couple of crews. Yat is the master of one crew. He's a crewmaster, as they would say in their parlance, and he has two little underlings under him. One was a half-orc, the other a human. So Griffith, was probably somewhere outside the town and said to Yat, "All right, go into this town and go get their tribute." And he waited out by the road, or whatever he was doing, probably with another one or two crews. Griffith, the pack leader, generally at his discretion goes into the towns. For littler towns, he probably wouldn't bother. That seems to be what happened here. Yat relished in the opportunity to come in and show what a big man he is. From Garriot's response and from your past perception, you really haven't seen such an imbecilic Iron Bell before as Yat. Imbecilic in this way. Normally they're more intimidating. Also, it maybe helped a little bit that Garriot seemed completely undaunted by him. Though you will note
He was clowning him.
He was clowning for him and not provoking him in any way. So that's something. By total chance and accident, Yat also got bitten by a snake during the encounter, which he blamed on Griffith, rightly or wrongly. "Griffith, you did this!" And he picked up Griffith's cane, which has a small stone ball at the end, and just
Garriot's.
Sorry,
Garriot.
I apologize. Yeah, he blamed Garriot, picked up Garriot's cane, which his walking stick, which had a small stone ball at the end, and just beat Garriot with it. Not super severely, but he had some blood, and Yat was definitely venting his internal humors on Garriot. Yat swaggered out of the town as the townsfolk came and tended to Garriot. He was relatively quickly healed of whatever was wounding him, and then he went ahead and got up. When Yat left, even though it's daytime, now we're in the episode. That's where we ended the previous episode. So when Yat left, even though it is daytime, uncharacteristically, the townsfolk went ahead and closed the front gate of the town. And this isn't uncommon. It's, just not really wanting to have people have the Iron Bell coming in and out, so they had a little time to regroup. Garriot is being tended to by various people, especially Urella. She's the town's gardener, the old widow, who takes care of things around the town in that elderly, widowly, matronly sort of way. So she's taking care of him, and after a few moments, Garriot kind of pushes everybody away, says, I'm fine, and then motions to Yoshka and says, "Young feller, why don't you grab your friends? We're going to head inside and come back in my house, and we'll get you set off on that." And he glances sidelong towards Urella, seemingly being a little bit obscure, and says, "On that, let's say, a special job that I told you fellers about before." Yoshka, Jared, roll me, please, an insight check.
12.
Okay. He seems to be. You remember that the job he wanted you to do was to rescue her orphaned grandson who had been taken by slavers.
Yeah.
He seems to be not letting her know that that's what he's asking of you. That's all you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, I'll follow him in.
yeah, he starts walking towards. Now, suddenly, not dramatically, just you hear a jangling outside of the town wall, where the door is. There's a kind of rapping on it and a jangling of it, and you don't make note of it. Garrett, however, stops and just turns to listen because more or less somebody's knocking, ringing the bell to come in. And as with most towns, they have a bamboo sort of ringer that you can, create a few sounds with. So he stops to just take a look because who casts not his eye when the bell rings? And he sees that they open the door a little bit after a few moments, and there is a forest gnome at the door who does a brief exchange with the townsfolk. They're wary a little bit. It's an Iron Bell thing, but they can tell obviously she is not Iron Bell. And after a brief exchange, they welcome her in as warmly as they welcomed you. Garriott, seeing that a new person has come into the town, interrupts.
Wait, they put her in a big basket and they lock her in? What? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they actually didn't do that to you. You did that to you. Except for Diamondback. They did it to Diamondback because he preferred it.
That's fair.
Garriott walks over and motions to you, Yoshka, just to wait just a moment and says, new guests. And he walks over and introduces himself. And he says, he himself is a halfling, and he's a septuagenarian, octogenarian range. And he says, well, hello, young lady. How are you?
Oh, young. It's been so long since I was the young one. Such a pleasure to meet up here.
Oh, and he taps his cane a little bit in a way that he has been doing. Neno, Aaron Joy, you notice that he is wearing a overcoat that comes, down to a little below his knees or a little above his feet. There's not much difference. And it's a little bit ill-fitting. He's portly, older, round, got a very friendly face and sharp, quick, alert eyes, and welcomes you and says, welcome. What can we do for you here? What can we do?
Well, I think we would have to say I am off on an adventure. I'm really my first time out in the big wide, and a pleasure to have come to you first.
Ooh, that's not so good to hear. I'm sorry for whatever circumstance got you all out and about. Well,
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what. You're welcome to stay here for a little while. We have some other guests here too right now, and as I told them, unfortunately, we're not in a position to have any new permanent residents, but I'd be very happy to help you out. And honestly, I think the best thing I can do for you right now is introduce you. We just met some strapping young men who are out in the world taking care of business, I say, and I bet they'd love to have you along. We can ask them.
Everybody needs a grandma. I'm up for an adventure with whoever.
Well, come on. And he takes about 4 steps to turn himself around and starts shuffling and motioning to you over his shoulder, shuffling towards Yoshka. He is not in any way wounded or disabled or anything. He's just, gotten over a moderate beating. And so he's kind of getting himself together. Yoshka, he makes his way over to you. And as he turns, he says, I'm sorry, young lady, I forgot to get your name. I'm Garriott, leader of this town.
Why don't you call me Neno?
Neno, indeed. Neno, Yoshka, Neno.
It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. And
The
I'm
pleasure's all mine, young'un.
and I'm gonna see if I recognize her or think I might.
Roll a history check for me.
Just because if she's from the north, I may have 14.
You don't think so. You're pretty.
Okay.
You don't recognize her especially.
You don't look like you're from here. Where do you come from?
Oh, not too far away. About one daylight's worth of moseying. I don't walk as quickly as I used to.
What happened? Never mind.
That's a story for another day.
Very good. I understand.
So Garrett taps his cane on the ground, not impatiently. He just is. It's sort of getting your attention, and says, "Let's head on in. I've got to get you young men on your way here." And Neno, just for you to know, there's a big green feller in my house, but he's friendly. And so
I'm not afraid of big ones.
all right. And so he walks over to one of these stone hamlet. This hamlet, all of the cottages in it are made of low stone with thatched roofs. He walks over to one of them and opens the door and walks in. You see a large green, let's call him a jolly green giant, standing there with a young man and his dog behind him, and another young man who is surprisingly shirtless and surprisingly serpentine, also behind him. The two seem to be figuring things out.
Can I narrate a little bit
Do
what
it.
she would probably see Diamondback doing at this stage?
Absolutely.
During this time, is it possible, Mr. DM, that Diamondback could spend 1 or 2 coppers on a shirt and a long strip of cloth with a little bit of yarn and maybe the loan of a bone needle or something?
What you're going to want to do is ask Garriott for that.
While they were doing this other stuff,
Oh.
can I have gone off and asked at the local general store?
Sure, absolutely. So what you would have, let's see here. I don't have that up, but there is one of the people in the town you saw has a loom. Remember, they each had a kind of a workstation.
Yeah.
One of them has
Just
a loom.
the roughest homespun.
Yeah, you would have gone there and asked what kind of supply she has, and you can have those for. What did you ask for? What was your pay that you were going to give?
Just like 1 or 2 copper, the cheapest stuff they have.
Yeah, 2 copper will do it.
Okay.
Why don't you decrement
Yeah,
for the copper?
and so what she sees is the shirt is sort of draped around his neck. It's just like on his shoulders, and he's currently. She sees a long wooden, very snake-carved quarterstaff, and he is carefully wrapping it with cloth so that the snake carvings will not be visible. And once it's wrapped up, he sews it just a couple of stitches to keep the cloth on because they don't have safety pins. But just covering up the snakishness of this piece of equipment.
Ah.
He's just maybe sitting cross-legged working on that when she comes in.
We're trying this new thing called discretion. We just watched a TED talk about it. It was a mind-blowing concept.
And Garriott comes in and he sees that same thing happening, and he taps the staff and the quarterstaff and says, "Flying snake. We've seen a few of those this morning." So,
Oh yeah,
Nana, having missed the beating but being quite familiar with sewing, is looking over at what you're doing and kind of subtly shakes her head with an expression of confusion, but keeps her lips zipped because she hasn't met you yet.
I think Gulb has not put two and two together yet, so can I make an insight check for Gulb to see if he notices Garrett's comment about the snake?
Do it.
That's a 9.
I don't think he noticed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Gulb is still just like blissfully unaware and is like, wow.
So
Does Garrett actually like make eye contact with Diamondback and expect a response, or is it just a throwaway comment?
he made eye contact with you and arched an eyebrow, but he seems to be amused rather than anything else.
If he gives me a second, what he will hear Diamondback say is, "This fellow Yit. How much will you pay me to kill him?"
Oh, goodness gracious. Why don't we talk about that in a minute, young feller? Got to introduce you guys to somebody important. And he steps
I like
aside.
how he didn't say no.
He steps aside and he says, Neno, you've met Yoshiki already, but here we got this big green feller. His name's Gulb, I believe. And honestly, I can't quite remember the quiet feller's name. And this young man with the snakes, that's Diamondback.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Diamond. And boy, howdy there.
Well, we're all about in your position, to be honest.
Well,
I got bit by alligators taken far south and met the two of them trying to make my way back. Maybe you can tell by my hat, I'm a wayfarer in this region. We were just about to set out and do a little bit of work for Garriott. If you're looking for an adventure, I'm not sure what you were meaning, but we could use the company.
Well, I sure would be thankful to walk with some people who know their way around. Wayfarers, you know your stuff.
Great. Well, we better use the sunlight while we have it. What do you say? Should we head out?
And
Anything else there?
Garrett claps his hand a couple times. Good. Before you go. And then he walks over and goes behind his desk where you remember previously given you each a piece of equipment. And he says, Neno, none of them fellers picked this, but I reckon it might just fit you well. And he hands you a black veil. And he says, these young men are doing a job for me, for us here in this town, and I'm paying them for it. And I'm paying them well. This would be your pay as well. It's a useful tool. Good.
These old eyes know magic when they see it. I will take that. Thank you very much, sir.
And he explains to you. Sorry, I think I'm getting feedback on the audio. Can anybody hear that?
I can a little bit, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody?
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not.
want to put on headphones.
That's me.
Okay. And so he tells you, Neno, he tells you what basically this is. This is called the Veil of the Seer's Widow. It was a friend of his a long time ago, was the seer. And I'll just tell you actually in his voice, might as well. I had a friend long time ago, seer, and he met his end, and it weren't pretty. And his widow, she came up, mourned and grieved and mourned. And I'll tell you, this veil got imbued with magic. Not sure what from, but it's been usable since. And he hands it to you. He says, with his veil, when you're wearing it, sometimes you can see the magic in the world around you. Understand?
A widow's tears have a magic sufficient for that.
Indeed they do. Indeed they do. So, here you go. And he gives it to you and he says, I hope it'll help you on your way. And it's yours to keep forever and ever. I don't need it back. It's good pay for a good job. I'm sure these young men will tell you what the job is. You're just rescuing a boy in need. But they'll tell you more. Then he turns to all of you and he says, last night, after you and me talked, I went into my study and I scried a little upon the young boy, the boy you're going after. I guess he ain't so young. He's about your age. I scried a little on him. He's doing fine. I mean, considering. But here's what you're going to need. To get to him, you just follow the road the way you've been going. But the town he's in, no good way in there. It's guarded by an orc town. I told you this before. However, the well of the town, it is fed by a spring, and there is a way for you to get into that spring, but you're going to have to go under the water for a good long ways. So I got something for you, and to each of you, he hands one small vial. He says, "It's all I got, but when it's the time, use this, and for a little while, long enough for sure, you'll be able to breathe underwater. Use it, get to the town, get to the spring. It's outside of town, and then swim your way under, all the way out to the, to the well in town, in their little village, I guess you'd call it, the little slave town. Get the young man and bring him on out. Okay?"
What does he look like?
And so Garriott gives you a good description of him. And he says, "Now wait a minute. And he reaches over, rummages through, grabs some components, rubs them in his hand, and pops up a nice, clean image using a spell to create a little illusion of the boy. And he says, "Here he is right here." And he shows you an image of what he looks like. He is Urella's. You remember Urella the widow? He is her grandson, orphaned. His parents have been killed, and he looks similar to her. It's plenty to go on in the town, and he has told you before that the town has, as far as he can tell, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen slaves that are just being kept for when the Iron Bell comes, and the orcs give him those slaves instead of their own people. And he says, "Now I got to tell you one real important thing, real important. While I was scrying, I saw something coming from way outside, way downstream where the beasts are. It comes every so often, but in the next few days, gosh, I say 3-4 days, maybe a week at the most, there's a false night coming. You don't want to be caught out during that."
We have a friend who may be caught out in this. Can you scry for her too? And we can find her?
I'll do it while you're away. Do you have anything belong to her? Do you have any way I can know of her?
I think Gulb produces a little bracelet of hers, something that she dropped at some point and he picked up and was holding.
Sure. He'll take that, and he says, I'll see what I can find her, and if she's nearby, we'll go out and get her. False nights ain't no way for nobody to be out. It's not safe. You do not want to get caught out in a false night, so hurry. You got 3-4 days, maybe a week.
Gulb smiles and sees that the bracelet was enough, and he's like, okay. And you see a little Davina-shaped doll made with Davina's hair and little scraps of Davina's clothing, and he's like, okay. And he puts that back into his pouch.
Diamondback turns to Neno, and he says to her, "Garriott acts like an idiot for outsiders, but it is a ruse. In fact, he is among the most powerful wizards in this part of the world."
Oh, young feller, you making me red.
Your strategy is a good one.
Well, I guess you young men got all you need.
So, the false night.
Yeah?
What counts as out? Do we have to be in the slave city?
You may not know how the false nights work. You fellers, any of you heard of a false night? Go ahead and roll me a history check, since you've asked. Everybody who wants to try to see if they know what he's talking about.
10 plus 4 is 14.
14.
4.
6.
Okay. Gulb.
An 8.
7.
Yoshika 7. Okay. Only Diamondback has a inkling of what he's talking about. But he will go ahead and explain. He says, Diamondback, I'll tell you, of course, all of you, you know, sometimes the nights seem longer than others. Sometimes there's those real long nights. Well, of course, I guess maybe not everybody knows this, but what happens is the mist, I'm not sure why, it builds up way in the far reaches of the forest, downriver, far from the bell. And when it builds up too much, it billows in upstream. It just billows, covering the whole land. And for a night, or a day and a night and a day, nobody knows how long it's going to last. Usually a day or two. There's nothing but night all the time. The mist is thick and dark. And the creatures that stay far away, they come on in. Even the Iron Bell doesn't come out on those. If you're in a town, the towns are sometimes safe. This town will be safe. I'll keep it safe. And if you're back in time, I'll keep you safe too. But you don't want to be caught out. You don't want to be caught in that slave town. You don't want to be caught in the road. You don't want to be caught nowhere, but somewhere you're safe.
Well, let's be going.
Get on your way. And he gives you each a vial, a little. These vials are little stone vials drilled out, and they have a little stopper in them. And they are basically a potion of water breathing that you now each have. Enough for one use each.
So we can get in with it, but not out of the slave town with it. Okay.
We shall enter by water and exit by fire.
And then he, as y'all are about to leave, he catches Diamondback with his staff and says, "Young man, I strongly recommend you leave Yat alone. He's nothing to worry about. He's just a blabbering fool. But Griffith, he's a shrewd, cold killer. You don't mess with Griffith. Not if you know what's good for you, I say. But hey, I'm not your paw. You do what you need to do." And ushers you all, walks with you towards the gate, chatters with you. I sure hope you got what you need. You got all the components you needed, and I'll see you on your way. I'll scry on you, and I'll scry for your friend there. And he points at Gulb. I'll scry for your friend there. See what I can see. But, you need to get on your way.
Thank you very much. And listen, remember the song that I sang to you last night. I think it means something.
Okay. I remember. He didn't say that impatiently. He's like, okay. He's considering. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Great.
We exit and go out into the town, or as we exit the town, Diamondback gingerly puts the shirt on.
Okay.
Outside.
Does the shirt instantly sublimate or just fall to tatters off of his diamond hard body?
No, it's too big.
Nice.
It's intentionally too big, and it doesn't fit.
Yoshka looks at him and nods with serious respect.
If they
As
get
Neno hears the gate shut behind them, she her whole body shudders and she stretches, and it's kind of like she gains almost 6 inches. Like she just stretched herself up to her full, close to 4 feet tall.
Nice.
And it kind of seems like 8 or 10 years just dropped off of her somehow.
Huh.
I
I
love
don't like
this.
cities either.
Well,
Sorry.
Yoshka reacts to it. He's like, but he doesn't say anything.
So it is morning time. Y'all are on your way. He has told you that it's you should be quick. He's not telling you to sprint. You have time to make it back, but not if you dawdle. And
Yes. I say let's get to business. I don't think this is a good time for hunting in the forest. Maybe if we see anything along the way, we're so well equipped though. Let's just try to make good time. Maybe Neno, if you want to ride on Gold when you get tired, he can carry a lot.
If you're willing,
true.
Gold,
I
I
can.
appreciate it. Side note, I travel at 25 feet per second, so I'm naturally a little bit slower than y'all, so I might take you up on that for pragmatic reasons.
So y'all will have
We
noticed.
actually all take a ride on Gold.
Yeah,
For sure
I'll
won't
just
get
I'll just
covered.
drop a sleigh. I'll just drop a sled behind me, and you guys can all just like hop on the pole, and I'm just dragging the pole, so you're just like surfing on the pole. Anyway, go ahead.
Different formations, like a totem pole, then like a V, then we just go out like straight across, holding linking
Ducks,
hands.
ducks, 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 ducks. Sorry.
So you are going on your way, and let's go ahead and roll for your. Remember what we were doing before? Each watch, including day and night, you are rolling for an encounter. It's less likely in the day, more likely at night. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for that. And I'm going to have y'all roll a couple of things too. Let's see. So for this first watch, which is the morning, it's early in the morning. Y'all are heading out on your way. The daytime, the forest is like you've been seeing. It's only been a day since it was raining. It's fresh, pretty dry now. You're feeling, in a good mood. Y'all are replenished, restored. The town was actually really good for you. You've all had a long rest. Okay. Let's see. No.
Meanwhile, Yoshika's singing the song he sang last night.
Mm-hmm.
The black of the night makes the fireflies bright, floating and twinkling around. The great trees bend and part their leaves, and what do you think is found?
Good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good.
I'll just insert it whenever you're doing something else, just as filler.
Sure. Sounds good. Go ahead and pick one of you for me. You all pick among yourselves to roll. It's not a character thing. It's a person roll.
To roll what?
You're just going to roll to see on your side. I rolled for an encounter, which you did not have, and I've also got a table for other things that can come up that you will roll for. It's just a D20.
Diamondback.
You want a D20? All right. Here goes.
I'll give you some randomness.
6.
Okay. There's nothing. That's fine. We're going on. So you got started. It was early in the morning when Yat came in. The Iron Bell tends to like to do their business all day long, and they've gone on their way, half an hour before you guys started off. You are going on your way, and it is now, let's see, it's mid-morning. You are following
Are we
the
going
path.
their direction?
You are going generally northwest, which you will probably not think of as northwest. That's just for the players. The characters will be thinking of it as you are going You're going about 45 degrees downriver. Does that make sense? So not straight downriver, but you're going further away from the Iron Bell.
Do we see signs of the particular Iron Bell who were in the town recently as we go along?
Sure, you can. Go ahead and roll for me an investigation.
10.
There are general indications of use on this road that you're on, but you can't tell specifically. The road is not it's not like in any way paved or packed. It's just a little bit of packed soil, wide enough for a cart, maybe a donkey or a horse, a couple of people. You're going along, listening for things. You don't hear anything. There was no encounter that first bit. And let's go ahead and in the second watch, so this is the noontime hour, so about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to check to see if you've got a excuse me. I'm going to check to see if you've got an encounter, which you do not. And also one of you roll a d20.
Yoshka.
17.
Roll a D20 for us.
A 17?
Yeah.
Nope, not anything this time either. Okay, great. Okay, It is. It's drawing late. This is the last watch of the day. So what we're going to do here is you've been making good progress. You haven't really seen anything. Not much of animals. Not much of people. You haven't seen anything really. You also have not been hunting for components or anything. You're trying to make some time, which is probably smart. It is now the last watch of the day, so we've got about 4 hours approximately until dusk. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to let you go hour by hour because you are also going to be searching, if you recall, for a place to stay if you want to. I would probably recommend it.
How much further do we have to the spring?
So he told you that it was a couple of days travel, so you're going to have to at least take one night.
Gotcha. I'll look for something.
Okay.
Survival.
Yeah, if y'all want to use a little bit of your time, you can still move during this time. But if you want to use a little bit of your time to look for a place to stay, everybody can. The way we did it before is everybody roll a survival check, and whoever has the highest roll is the one who rolls to see what they found. Does that make sense? Because that person found the best thing. So go ahead and give me a survival
natural
check.
20, 24.
Wow,
Nice.
that's a great one.
I'm not going to do better than that.
Okay.
Me neither.
Okay, Belvari, or I guess Josh is gonna. Go.
Yeah, I can't roll better than a 24.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Sounds good. Belvari, Dwight, why don't you roll me a D100? Wow, an actual D100.
39.
Okay, and I apologize. I'm going to do this
Very cool.
partially from memory because my roller just, for some reason, hasn't loaded up yet. It's loading slowly. But a 39, the best that you find is some natural covering of a nice close copse of trees. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great.
So I don't get any benefit from rolling a natural 20?
No, unfortunately, that's the way. That just determined who got to roll. It was a good 20, but it was at the wrong time.
Gotcha.
I mean, the wrong one. Okay, so do y'all want to try to... You've got 3 hours left to look. Do you want to try to keep walking and look for another hour? Or do you want to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diamondback says, good scouting, Belvari. However, this is not sufficient to spend the night.
Hey, I'm just telling you what's here.
He found better than anybody else. Okay, so let's go ahead and go for another hour. Go ahead and roll again, another survival check. Whoever gets the highest, you're the one who's going to roll the thing that we're doing.
15 for me.
I also got 13.
I got a 17.
Okay.
No.
15.
And Yoshka?
Okay.
Pretty low. I don't remember it.
Okay, doesn't matter. Aaron Joy, please roll me a D100.
Okay.
And my roller table is coming up extremely slowly, but it is coming up.
I'm for the podcast.
Wow, what a fast roller. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, 14.
Okay. Neno found, with her nimbleness, found the best of any of you. She found a clearing that you could huddle in and try to all be facing outwards and hopefully not get attacked.
Filled with poison ivy and spiders.
That's right. It is not as good, some of you will recall, as the thicket that you were under once. A few
When
nights
Gulp
ago.
hears spiders, he says, nope, and he just keeps walking into the woods.
Okay.
Why? Do you hate spiders? No, I don't know, but I feel compelled to walk.
So we go further. You've got 2 more opportunities tonight to...
Better find something soon, guys.
This evening, I mean. Go ahead and roll me
You're gonna
your
be liking
survival
that,
checks again.
Whatever I found.
Survival.
Survival check again.
Plus 20 plus 2 is 22 for me.
Okay.
I also rolled a 22.
Huh. We'll let Diamondback do it since Belvari did it
Do it
last
with
time.
the real D100.
That's right.
Here
Roll
comes
your sphere of
100
chance.
Show us on the camera so we can see how terrible it is at being a duck.
Everybody listen to how long it takes to roll a real D100.
Okay.
Still
Maybe
going.
that-
Telling audio.
Still going.
and everything.
Hasn't stopped yet. Still going. Come on.
Since they-
And oh.
What'd you do?
It's basically
spin it?
like roulette.
Stopped on the number 9.
All that for a single digit.
You were mocking me.
You found almost as good a clearing as Neno did last time.
I don't tell them about it.
Good call. And we just keep
No,
walking.
if you don't tell us about it, then everyone like comes with what they have, right?
Yeah, but you all found just absolute garbage as well as I did.
Yeah,
Mine was
nobody.
the best.
You probably
So
all found the same clearing.
Yeah.
It's just the road. Okay.
we're standing here and we think it's a clearing, and then like Gulb steps forward once and his feet sink into some like mire, and it's actually awful, and we don't want to stay there at all, and we just look at each other and keep on going.
I mean,
right.
playing the numbers, we have one more shot, but it's very likely to be better.
Somebody's got it. Okay, here's what I'm going to let you do.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
No, we never say gotta.
What were you going to say, Jared?
Not yet. Nothing.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to let you do. You can make no more progress, but I'll let you all roll the D100 and see what you get out of it. You'll make no forward
I think
progress.
That sounds good.
we would probably do that. We would probably be like, okay,
We need to
Okay.
find something,
Okay.
guys. It's
Okay.
getting dark.
okay.
So for this hour,
Sun's going down. This is it.
yeah. For this
So
hour,
do we
this is
skip
the
straight
last
to
hour
the
before
D100?
nightfall. You each roll a D100. You're going to make no forward progress, but you're really looking in earnest for a good shelter.
How's a 71 scratch your back?
There we go.
I'll see what I get. Hold on.
27 here.
3 hours later.
27 for
Still
Enjoy?
going.
For Neno?
Hold on. 70.
Ah, I beat you by 1.
Gulb, what'd you get?
61.
61. Okay.
26.
26. And then, Belvari, I need you to also roll me a d20.
Great.
That tells the condition of the house. The thing that you find.
11.
11? Did you say 11?
Yeah, 11.
Okay. So, considering the 61, the 71, and the 70, what y'all found is what appears to be a significantly ruined little hamlet. Most of it is not usable, but the best thing you found in it is actually a just disused and somewhat dilapidated hut. It is in decent shape. It's actually not bad. You can spend the rest of your hour, if you like, scavenging bits of thatch or wood or whatever from the other ruined places, the other ruined houses. There's like maybe 3 total huts. Do your best to get it all fortified for the night. It'll be in pretty good shape. It's not like amazingly awesome, but it's pretty good shape. And hey, you know, a hut is way better than the clearings or anything you found before. You would guess these are all wood. They're not stone or anything, but you would guess that the last time they were used was 50, 60, 70 years ago. Okay.
Yeesh.
So what do you want to do? You tell me.
Let's do it. Let's fortify it.
Okay. Go ahead, and this time I would like one of you. Let's have Jared with advantage roll me a survival, and that's going to tell me about your fortifications, your attempts to fix it all up.
10 and 10.
Okay.
Which one are you going to pick, though?
Sounds great.
Typical
All bets are
gypsy work. I'm sorry. Wait. Whoa.
Family
whoa.
podcast.
I will cut that in
Whoa.
post.
We've already been banned from Twitch.
That's right. Okay.
That's right. Our channel is already shut down. Sorry.
So what we're going to do here is get ready for the night. You have the evening is coming. 17, that's pretty good. There is room inside this little house for all of you to be in there and also have a little bit of a fire. That means you could cook your rations. I did a 50-50 on whether you could be inside or outside the house with a fire. If you'd like, you can cook your rations, have some dinner, that kind of thing. Otherwise, don't. So tell me what you're going to do. Y'all should negotiate amongst yourselves regarding watches and who's going to sleep and stuff like that.
Gulb, have you any of that elk steak remaining?
Little bit, and it's good time to eat it too.
He pulls out. I'll look in my equipment, but yeah, he pulls out enough to share with everyone, and starts. He gets out a rock and starts shaving down to make kebabs to cook over the fire.
Do you have any dinner rituals? That breakfast was delicious.
I think Gulb gives him a kind of crestfallen look and kind of breaks eye contact and shakes his head. You could tell it's not a genuine no. He's just very sad.
And Gulb, Josh, if you go ahead and decrement your rations, your elk meat rations, I mean.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Figure out resting and watches and things. If any of you need long rest, for sure, figure that out. Otherwise,
so I have a thing that I intend to do every night before bed, but to like stock up one of my tools. Mm-hmm. But I don't need to do it tonight because I didn't use up the tool today.
Sounds good.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I can take second watch.
Josh, you had 35 rations a minute ago. Where they doubled?
No, isn't it a half pound per ration?
A pound per ration was what I was doing.
Oh, pound. Okay. All right. In that case, I've got 30.
Okay.
Rations / pounds. I thought you had a half pound.
It could. I don't know what the canonical.
No, that's fine. I mean, whatever it is what it is.
Yeah.
Rations
I just didn't know. I've been saying a pound because it was easy math.
We'll just do rations then.
So who's on the first watch, if anybody? If you don't get at least a short rest, you will be fatigued tomorrow.
For what it's worth, my rations are actually 2 pounds per ration.
Wow. Okay. You mean like in D&D Beyond?
Yeah, in D&D Beyond.
Huh. Good to know. All right. Well, we'll normalize that later. Right now,
mine are too. That's weird. I thought it was.
Since we know we need to make good time tomorrow, it makes sense that no one would. Everyone should get at least 8 hours of sleep, if we can arrange it. Which I think we can. We have enough for 3 people to take a 4-hour chunk, right?
Yep. So we're gonna roll for encounters and stuff. Tell me who's on the first watch, who's on the second watch, who's on the third.
Diamondback volunteers for the first watch.
Second.
I always wake up early anyway. Happy to take the third.
Okay.
And during that first watch, what Diamondback is going to do is he's already attuned to his new quarterstaff. But as the others are sort of lying down and going to bed, you see him carefully undo the long strip of cloth, of rough woven cloth that he's got wrapped in a spiral around his quarterstaff, and he undoes it and tucks the cloth away and holds the staff. And for the first hour of his watch, he is meditating on the staff. And I guess once you are all asleep, what will happen is that he's using a property of this item where it says you may spend 1 hour to focus on the item and choose a different snake for it to become temporarily. And it becomes a giant constrictor snake of CR 1/4, CR 1/4.
Okay.
And the constrictor snake, he is going to, it's under his control. It acts on its own initiative count. And he's just going to tell it that what it should do. I don't know how much of this is possible. So he's learning how the item works, just like I am. So tell me how much of this is possible. But he's going to give a command to the snake, a general command, which is to sort of lie curled around the hut. It's a big snake. Its size large. So it's bigger than Gulb actually is. It's like 20 feet long or something. I don't know how long it is, but it's really big, and it's going to lie curled around the hut. And its instructions are, if anything touches it or if it senses any danger during the night, that it should first warn Diamondback. Should first make its way directly to Diamondback and like nudge him to wake him up and warn him, and then immediately go back to staff form.
Okay. What next to you or with you or whatever?
Yeah, next to me, by my side. Just go right back to staff form. I don't know. It might be something that maybe it's that Diamondback has to make the decision to turn it back to staff form. So his plan is, if the snake wakes me up in the night, first thing I do, it goes back to staff form so that it's safe. Boom.
Yeah. If
Then
you can
go on. No, just so that if we're attacked, it's not the first thing getting killed. It runs away from attack, goes back to Diamondback, turns back into a staff.
Okay. If you can, assuming you can speak, because speaking is required to make it change from a staff or back, then you'll be able to do that. It has very low intelligence, the constrictor snake. It'll try to do what you're saying, but it's not like super, it's not a person, right? It's a snake.
Right.
But it generally gets the gist and goes outside, and you can hear it kind of around the hut, kind of.
Well, I want it to stay really close to the hut.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can hear it like wrapping itself, laying around it like a door stop sort of thing.
Yep, just like a doorstop.
Yeah. One of those little things you put to stop the air.
I guess we have to roll for this encounter, but what the next person sees is, Diamondback wakes you up. I guess it's Yoshka, right? Diamondback wakes you up.
Okay.
Let's not jump that far ahead yet.
Right, we don't want to jump that far ahead. We need to roll for these.
Belvari notices that the guy on watch is meditating, and so he has his ears wide open and is paying attention for that amount of time.
Interesting.
And
All
before we fall asleep, it seems like one of you guys would ask, like maybe when I'm volunteering to keep watch, one of you guys would ask me, like if I am fit for duty, what I'm bringing to the party. And so I tell you.
Ask that.
Pardon?
Belvari would not ask that.
True. Maybe Yoshika would, but he would do it very politely.
Sure.
So I have a something that it's a guidance cantrip. I touch one willing creature. Before the spell ends, a target can roll a d4 and add that number to rolled to one ability check of their choice. It can roll the dice before or after making the ability check. The spell then ends. So if we have some encounter and you have to like roll an ability check, I could help your roll go well. And I also can do some minor illusions.
Great.
That's what I've got. I'm not much of a fighter, but.
And Aaron and I'll tell you all sort of out of character. Aaron and I had talked about your cantrips being available to you, your known cantrips being available to you in a certain way. They're not yet. Garriot's going to help you with that when you get back.
Oh, my illusion and guidance?
Are those are cantrips you know, right?
Those are the only two on my cantrip list.
Right, yes.
They're racial, though.
Yeah,
if it counts.
You do know those. You just can't quite use them yet.
Darn.
Garriot's going to help you when you get back.
You can use components to...
Yeah, you
okay,
have to use
so
components for the moment.
If something happens during my alarm, I will yell really loudly and wake you up quickly.
There you go.
Or maybe you could whisper to someone.
whisper to Belvari and
whisper very loudly.
Yell loudly enough that the others can wake up. Okay.
Okay, let me roll for this first watch and see where we are. I have, in everything that you narrated, I used that to determine the DC of whether or not you'll get an encounter this watch. You do get an encounter. That really surprised me. I rolled a natural 20. All right. So let's see
What happens?
What's that?
What happens?
Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what we're looking at this wise. Interesting. Okay.
Do we want to take a break real quick before the encounter starts?
Yeah,
Oh,
why don't
it
we
is
take a break?
9.
We'll come back in 10 minutes, and there we go.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Roll to decide whether whatever the encounter is happens
All right, we are back. This is The Dying of the Light, Season 3 of the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and extraordinarily compelling stories in a fictional world that we have been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective, as well as the stories we're telling, at thestarfallcollective.com. We're back with another episode. Let's find out who's in this episode. I am Sir Robert Burbridge, and very little or nothing more. I'm the host of this season's story, and with me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Please say your name and something about yourself if you like, and a brief description, maybe the name and something about the character that you're playing. Why don't we start with Josh?
One of the few facets of my infinite intelligence across the cosmos is known as Josh. I, unlike Sir Robert, am a being of manifold consciousness. And tonight I will be playing Gulb with all of my mental fortitude. And I'm a software engineer. You can see my Bigfoot interview on Bigfoot Society podcast. It's awesome.
Okay, and I am Jared. I am playing Yoshka, who is a wayfarer, like a gypsy, gypsy bard from the north who, after being lost for more than a year down in the bayou, finally he's gotten up far enough into the chilly north that he feels like he can finally take off his winter cap.
And just a reminder, north doesn't make it cold in this world, but to the north it is higher altitude in this region, which is what makes it cold. Aaron Joy?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm playing Neno, a grandmotherly aged forest gnome who is recently evicted from the city where she spent her whole life, and by happen chance and luck has teamed up with this crew of adventurers.
Hey, Belvari is a young druid who likes it quiet.
And Matt?
My name is Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com. I'm playing the shirtless wizard Diamondback, who is currently wearing a shirt for strategic reasons only.
Okay. And we also have with us...
Yoshka was just crushed.
Right.
He doesn't know why.
We also have with us in the studio audience, Jacob is here listening in. And eagle-eyed listeners will notice that I have a new high-resolution monitor that is causing me a little bit of technical difficulty. But don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Let's get started. Previously, we had the party. They left the town of Miradau, well-equipped, well-stocked, well-rested, and are on their way to rescue a young man who's been taken into slavery. They want to rescue him, bring him back to his grandmother. He is an orphan aside from his grandmother, and they want to get him back to where he's going. They've been traveling. It's a couple of days' travel to get where they're going. They found, thankfully, at the last minute, a reasonable shelter to stay in for the night. And they've just, they're on the first watch. They have just had an encounter. I rolled a 20 when I was checking for the encounter, which in this particular case was the actual roll I had to make. I had to get a 20 or above, and I got a 20, so there we are. Let's go ahead and see which hour of the watch this was on. Diamondback did something. He set his, let's call it for now, pet snake, magical sort of snake. He set it to guard. It is a giant constrictor. It is guarding the outside of the little hut that they are in, dilapidated hut that they fixed up a little bit. He did that in the first...
only if it didn't happen in the first hour.
Right. He did that in the first hour of the watch, at the end of the first hour, because he had to, get that going. So let's see what hour it is. I'm going to roll a d4. That's going to tell me which hour of the watch. Third hour of the watch. So the snake is active.
And Belvari's asleep because as soon as Diamondback stopped,
That's right. And
whatever, meditating, he dozed off.
yeah, and I'll just to let you know, you're saying that Belvari did actually affect the difficulty of this positively for your perspective, so that's good. Let's go ahead and see what happens during the night. It's about the third hour of the watch. Nothing has been happening outside. It's normal noises. You hear an occasional monkey screech or maybe an owl hooting or something like that. Some noises you can't quite recognize, but it's a standard sort of forest night. At some point, however, you start to notice that Diamondback, you start to hear a sound, something like a slithering sound. And within a few minutes, through a small, well, I guess not super small, through a gap in the hut, which is how your snake got out, I assume. There was some kind of hole that it got out through. Your snake seems to be returning to you. It comes and coils up next to you and, not around you, but like coils up next to you and sort of shakes and shivers a little bit, and then that's about all it does.
Okay. I don't know yet as a player, and Diamondback doesn't know yet as a character what properties this magical snake will have. I mean, I guess I can't communicate with it in any way. I can issue it commands and it sort of does them, but can I get any sort of sense from it what it was that it saw or anything like that?
It is doing what you said, which no, you can't. It is doing what you said and obeying more or less your directive.
Okay, so I'm going to pick up my shield.
Mm-hmm.
So that my armor class is a little better, but I'm not able to cast spells right now. And I'm going to go to the very edge of the door and look out of the hut, and what do I see?
Well, tell me first, is there a fire inside the hut right now or no?
I think we would have let it die down to dim coals.
Embers that are not really illuminating.
Very dim embers that are giving warmth, but not very much light.
Okay. You see absolutely nothing, inside or outside. The nights are pitch black. However, I said that I had that pause so that some time has passed. As you look out, you see nothing. However, you do hear, it would be probably best described as a sort of clomping walk. Almost this sort of dull thud that's a little stilted, not like a person, but kind of a thump, thump, thump outside. That's all you can tell about it. It doesn't sound like a huge, giant thing, but you hear something. It's definitely not normal sorts of forest sounds, and it's definitely outside of the hut, sort of scratching and, kind of rubbing against the outside of the hut. It does seem to perceive that there's something of interest to it inside the hut. What do you want to do? Sorry, and first, before you do that, you told me that when your snake came back, the first thing you would do is return it to snake form, but you didn't actually say just now that you did that?
Yeah, I do that.
Okay, great. Just making sure I had it right. Okay, so tell me what you do.
The snake to staff form, and I put it back in my inventory.
Uh-huh.
And does one of my companions have a magic item that lets them see in the dark? If I remember correctly, is that Yoshka?
That's what you remember Garriott saying of the device Yoshka took, which was an iron ring.
Right. So I'm going to wake up Yoshka, and I'm going to say,
"Do it."
I kneel down by Yoshka and I shake him by the shoulders. I say, "Yoshka, awaken."
Oh, Okay, I'm guessing I hear the clomping too.
So there's
If you pay attention, yeah.
there
Does
is some.
Belvari wake up?
I do not wake Belvari up. I wake up Yoshka, and I say, "There is
Are
some."
y'all talking your usual loudness?
Sounds like
Yes,
he's
that are
whispering.
at my usual volume.
Belvari, you do not
Okay,
wake up.
Belvari wakes up.
No, based on your passive perception, you do not.
Okay.
I will look at the rest of you, though.
Diamondback says to Yoshka,
No.
"Some very large creature is outside. Perhaps you can
Good.
get a look at it."
Let's try this out. Garion said, if we both hold it, we can both take a look. So I put the ring on one of my torches, let him put it in his hand too, and then lead us to the door to peek out.
Okay. And you have to light the torch.
I have to light the torch with normal fire. Okay, so I need to
Yeah,
light it with
that's
normal
smoldering
fire
fire.
in the
Embers.
fireplace,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then put it on.
Yeah. You can put it on first. It just, you won't know if it's lit or not because the fire would be black and it's dark.
Right, you want to put the ring on first and then light the fire, so it's not normal fire.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
You'll be able
That's
to
what I
tell
wanted
because
to.
suddenly you'll be able to see in the dark.
yeah.
Like as though a light came on. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
what you do. And I'm just saying that because it matters because creatures can see light and things, and so we're trying to make that happen. Okay.
Okay.
So what do? Now you, Yoshka, are holding onto this torch, and you suddenly can see the inside of the cabin you're in as though it's lit, the little hut that you're in, as though it is lit by a dim light. Not super, actually within 20 feet, a bright light. You can see it's well lit, except you can also tell it's all grayscale. You don't see any color. That means you can tell that you're seeing in the darkness, and it's really dark.
Well, I'll hold it out to Diamondback to hold also, like I had mentioned, and then we're both going to go to the door, and if there's any cracks in the door, we're going to kind of, figure out some way. If we
Yeah.
need to open the door, but take a look out.
Okay, go ahead and roll me, each of you. Diamondback, that sounds good to you?
yes,
Okay.
I go along with that.
Roll me an investigation check. Each of you, or one of you with advantage, doesn't matter to me.
13.
Um, 15 for me, and I actually rolled that with disadvantage because I'm still holding my shield.
Okay. So, Yoshka, you see some motion. Diamondback actually is the first to make it out, and he basically sees that there are two creatures. They are small. They are outside the door. He peeks through some cracks in the door and he sees them. They're roughly humanoid. Diamondback, I'd like for you to roll me both an Arcana and a History check.
Do I have? Can I take 6
No.
seconds to doff my shield?
Yes, you may. And also, I want you to actually roll me Arcana and Nature.
Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to because I've got my shield up and it's keeping me from really seeing or doing much because I don't actually know how to use a shield.
Yeah.
I'm very awkward with it. So when I see that I can see and I want to look closer, I take the shield off and I lay it on the ground.
Okay.
And then I do my peering closer.
Sounds good.
And I make an Arcana check, which is going to be a 12.
Okay.
And then a Nature check, which is going to come to a 19.
Aha. Okay. You are not sure what it is. You don't really know what it is, but from somewhere in your memory floats a word that you think is what this thing is, as though maybe you've heard of it before. It seems to fit. You're not 100% sure, but it's like, I think this might be one of those. And the word that you hear is meanlock. Does that mean anything to you?
It doesn't
Just-
mean anything to me, the player, but
Okay.
I whisper it to Yoshka. I say,
And
for some reason, I am reminded, although I know not why, of the word meanlock. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
And
Do I make a roll or?
no, you well, actually, sure. You can give me also, since he said that, you can give me also a history check. Diamondback. The other thing you will have noticed from your nature check is that you're pretty sure these things are magic, and you think maybe fae. Yoshka, you're 8. It means nothing to you.
Okay.
I say it. Do I pick up any trace of hostility, and if so, in what form?
You absolutely detect a sense of, I'll say, not hostility directly, but you feel a fear creeping into your mind from the edges.
It is some nightmare creature from another realm. We must be on our guard. Perhaps it would be well to wake the others.
All right.
Okay.
So we go and we wake the others, but hushing them
Uh-huh.
as we wake them, saying, "Shh, there's something here. Some fey creature from another realm haunts our campsite. We know not what danger we are in, but be on your guard."
Okay, and basically, let's see here. Sorry, I'm just reading this little bit. Okay, great. You wake them all up, and you start hearing the creatures. They hear a little bit of noise inside. They feel like they're still interested, and they start scratching. And you can hear this scratching low on the door. It's again, these are small creatures, but it's low on the door. You hear this kind of rough clawing towards where the door is, and then it moves around different parts of it. Go ahead and everybody roll initiative.
Ish. 5.
Okay.
Oh. Oh.
Belvari's taking a snooze, falling back asleep.
Who rolled a 5?
I rolled a 5, Diamondback.
Diamondback.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. And
21.
1. Neno rolled a 17.
I did, but I don't. Yes, but I think I did it wrong. Am I supposed to click a button to go initiative? I've lost it.
If you
I
just
just
click
rolled the
the
dice.
initiative button or the initiative
Yeah.
thing,
Does
So,
it have any?
your bonus.
Is it plus 0?
I don't
or
remember
is it
where it is.
kind of up
right-
right
It should
in the
be right in
center
the middle.
top.
in the middle of the character sheet?
Yeah,
on
you
its
got
own.
Ah,
two.
got it. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
And Gulb, what did you roll?
20.
20.
You got 19 if you want.
And Neno has a 10.
First roll.
Or a 19 if you count my original D20 plus my plus 2 initiative.
I will do the 19 because why not? Okay, and I'm not gonna. Your snake is being in your back still, so it is no longer a snake. Let's.
Yep.
Okay, here's what happens. I got initiative rolled for them.
Is my dog in initiative order?
I don't have your dog in here yet, but I can put it in. I will have to do your dog sort of manually from memory. It'll go right with you. It'll go right after you. Okay.
Got a 0.
Okay, that's right. Yoshka, you first. Basically, you start hearing the scratching. It gets more and more intense and is kind of all over the place, and it starts scrambling up the walls outside. You hear it up high, down low, kind of going around. And you're pretty sure, Yoshka, at this point that you hear 2.
Okay. Can you explain to me the rules of fighting in the pitch black?
So, yes, I think I can.
Well, right now we're inside and we've got a little bit of light. And
You do
you're
have a...
holding a torch that lets you see.
That's right.
Yeah.
Four of you can
So
hold
it's
the
like
torch
what
at a time. In which
But that's going to affect like our AC, I suppose.
no, it just affects, what you couldn't do a two-handed thing.
Okay.
For whoever the 4 of you who are holding it will see as though it's bright light, like a normal, and bright light just means like normal daytime light. The only difference is you see it in black and white, grayscale. When you are in complete darkness, you'll have disadvantage on everything, all attacks that you're trying to do. So, if you
But we're
can't
not
see,
in complete darkness because we've still got the glowing embers.
yeah, and I'll count that as dim light. I'm happy for that to be a dim light in the room that you're in. Also, you can feel free to, somebody can blow on them and make it brighter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yoshka, good. So what are you going to do?
Okay, well, as I woke Gulb, I put his hand on the torch, and me and I guess I'm gonna rally one more person to the torch, and then just bring us outside, and be like, "Let's get him from here. Let's just beat him to death."
If Diamondback sees this, and has a chance to, he's going to say, "We're in a defensible position. Slay the first one that enters. Wait until you see one enter, and then strike immediately."
Okay, and
All right, fair enough.
I'll have that be Yoshka's turn. A little bit of dialogue makes sense to me for that. Gulb, your turn. You're awake. You are awakened. Your hand is on this torch. You can see as though it is. You're seeing in the dark. Everything's kind of grayscale, but it's as though it's bright light. It's well illuminated, and you hear all the scrabbling and scrappling outside the hut. That's getting a little more and more pronounced and frenetic and frantic.
Okay, I think Gulb is going to reach into his component pouch and cast Create Bonfire. Let me just triple check that I've got the reagent for that. Here we go. Create Bonfire. It would appear that I have run out of them. So never mind. I think Gulb... is there a door between himself and these critters?
Yeah, the door that you have, which is a little bit makeshift. Remember, it's a pretty ramshackle hut, but they have not gotten in yet. And there is a door that you borrowed from a different house that was in better shape and have kind of fastened it to the entryway.
Okay, I think if they sound like they're behind the door,
They're
can he make
outside
an
the hut.
And you said that they were scratching at the door?
There's kind of scratching everywhere, sometimes at the door, sometimes up and
Gotcha.
down, different parts of it. And remember,
Okay.
there are holes big enough that a giant constrictor slithered in and out of the hut.
In that case, I think he kicks the door open. He grabs his maul, hefts it up, kicks the door open, and instead of just stepping out immediately, he's kicking the door open, looking to see if there's one around, and attacking the first thing that he sees.
Okay. You don't see anything yet. The door kicks open. There's a loud clamor, and that's all. That you don't see anything out there yet. You're
Okay,
no longer.
Go ahead.
That means you're no longer holding the torch, right? You went over to the door and kicked it.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think he's still got more movement, so he's gonna pick a direction that he thought he heard it coming from and try to move towards it to attack one.
Go out into the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll hold an action. He'll hold his action to attack the first thing that comes within range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neno, it's your turn. You are in the room with everybody, awakened. Yoshka, was Neno or Belvari the fourth person that you gave access to the torch?
Oh, I think Belvari.
Okay. Neno, it's pitch black. No, sorry, it's not pitch black. It's very dim light from the embers. You are awakened, and these young men are trying to protect you from a scrabbling that you can hear.
Okay. I am going to ready a firebolt.
Mm-hmm.
I'll decrement for that. But not use it. It's just prepared for when I see something that needs to be zapped. And I'm going to stage whisper, "What are we fighting?"
Okay.
Not.
All right. And then Yoshka said he didn't know. Sorry, Matt, did you say something?
I said some fey nightmare.
Mm-hmm. It is now one of these two creatures' turns. Let's see. Here's what happens. Suddenly, standing right next to you, Yoshka, you are holding this torch, and you're just standing there. Gulb is filling the doorway. He's a big dude. And right in front of you, coming from nowhere, it just is suddenly in front of you, you see this creature. Here's what you see. And those of you who are in the darkness, so Neno and Gulb, you do not see this. So here's what you see. There is a creature. It is probably about, if it were standing fully erect, it's kind of roughly humanoid and hairy and distorted. If it were standing fully erect, it might be about 4 feet tall. It is severely hunched over and is in this case only about 2 feet tall. It's clearly very strong. It's got long pinchery claws that are like almost like insect or lobster claws that can snap and bite, and its feet are also clawed. It has sort of malicious look about itself. As I said, it just suddenly appears right in front of you. It did not walk in front of you or anything. It's just there. And it does a claw attack at you, Yoshka. Let's see. Does a... You know what? I'm going to roll these in D&D Beyond because it has all the bonuses and stuff. Does a 23 hit you?
Just barely.
Okay. And then 9 damage.
Ouch.
Yoshka, roll me a con saving throw. DC 11.
17.
Okay, great. You're taken aback by this thing suddenly appearing in front of you, but you're okay. I mean, aside from being super hurt, you're doing okay. It is now Diamondback, your turn. You are holding on to the same torch, this torch of the Circle of the Night Watch, and you see the same thing appear right in front of Yoshka and attack him. It is also therefore pretty much right in front of you.
Right. It is going to... I'm going to pull out from my pouch.
Wait, I'm sorry, really quickly. Neno, in the dim light, you also see it, because it's dim light, Yoshka's in the middle, and you had a held action to cast Firebolt at it.
She should use her reaction to cast that now.
Yes.
Yep, that's what I do.
Okay, and...
I step slightly to the side so that I don't hit either of my friends. I just hit the beast.
Uh-huh. And tell me, Firebolt, tell me about that. What's the damage? Do you have to roll for it? I don't actually quite know.
Let's see, what does it say? Firebolt. You hurl a mote of fire at a creature or object within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes a 1d10 fire damage.
Okay, let's do it.
So, ranged spell attack. I'm going to attack.
Click on spells, you're going to see spell attack.
Spells, thank you.
Something. And ranged means you have to be at least 5 feet away.
I am that, I think. All right. Oh, spell attack +4.
Great.
No, that's my bonus.
You rolled D20.
Okay, thank you.
Roll it up.
Okay. Got an 11 +4. It's a 15.
That does hit. And how much damage do you roll? A d10, I believe.
Ah, 1.
Okay.
Distracted him mildly with an itchy slight burn.
First degree burn.
Athlete's foot.
Now it's your turn,
Welcome
Diamondback.
to Nano's chemical peels and topical exfoliants.
Diamondback is going to pull out some a little folded paper from inside of his well-organized component pouch that contains some sap of the snowroot orange tree, which is going to dissolve into black mist as he casts the spell Shocking Grasp.
Mm-hmm.
So make a melee spell attack against the target. Since I'm right up next to it with Yoshka, I can't make my ranged spell attacks.
Right, right.
So this is, I actually reach out and touch it with like lightning bolt fingers.
Lightning bolt finger.
And it's going to be a 10 to hit.
And that does not hit. Diamondback, I need you to roll me a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 7 plus 4 is 11.
Okay.
So I make it.
Sounds good. You're in decent shape for that. From outside, there is still more scrabbling, this time from up on the roof. You hear another creature up there on the roof, the sort of dilapidated thatched roof. That is its turn. Belvari, your turn. You see,
Belvari is
you
holding
also see the one that
with,
just attacked Yoshka. Sorry, go ahead.
Gotcha. Belvari will quickly turn into a chimpanzee using his bonus action.
Okay.
He uses where's my component thing? He uses one gland of the slender-tailed chimpanzee and one nail of the slender fur chimpanzee.
Okay.
And I'm using the 8 beast card for that.
Sounds good.
So he will then punch the creature that is in front of him 2 times.
Do it.
Let's see. Where's the attack? 5 to hit. Okay. 11 and 6. Oh wait, plus 16 and 6.
That definitely hits. What's the damage?
One of them, I guess, hits, not the second one.
Oh, sorry. One was an 11 and one was a 16?
No, sorry. One was a 6 and one was a 16.
Okay, yeah. One of them hits. What's the damage?
1d6 plus 3. 1d6. 5 damage.
Okay, good. So Belvari, in just a moment, in matter of a few seconds, his shape twists and turns, and he becomes a. You said it was an orangutan. What was it? Chimpanzee. He becomes a chimpanzee, and an unusually quiet chimpanzee. It whispers a howl and screech and beats gently at its chest, and in a matter of moments, it has just started pummeling towards this creature. One of its blows lands solidly and just does a nice chunk of damage to this creature. Belvari, a chimp. I'm gonna say that a chimpanzee is not humanoid enough.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you don't need to roll the wisdom saving throw.
He's a beast.
Say it again.
He's a beast, not a humanoid.
Beast. Great. Okay, great. So there's no wisdom saving throw for you needed for that, Belvari. It is now back to Yoshka's turn. Yoshka, you have just been.
What about Gulb?
I'm sorry. Oh no, it's Yoshka's turn first, then Gulb. Gulb was outside looking outside
Ran
the door.
out and kicked the door.
Yeah. Yoshka, your turn.
So,
Okay.
am I outside, or I thought I was standing in the doorway?
You are. You kick the door
You
open
said
or
you
looking
had
outside
extra.
for the first thing, but you can't see this creature because you're let go of the night watch torch and it's still dark in the room. Nobody has lit
You
the
had
fire
extra
fast
movement,
higher.
so you said you ran out.
Oh, that's right. You ran
Well-
out to see where you thought it would go.
And then you said you go out into the dark, and I said no, I guess not. I stand in the
Right.
doorway and wait to. But even though it's 5 feet away from me, I can't see it.
That's right. Yeah. All you know is there's commotion in the room behind you. You're kind of trying to protect against the outside. Yoshka, your turn.
Okay, I do I do Shillelagh on my staff
Uh-huh.
while saying, "Separate the lobster from the beaver," to Gulb as my bardic inspiration.
Okay.
And then I attack him with
What?
isn't he like a lobster beaver thing? He's all hairy and hunched in lobster claws.
Yeah,
Fair enough,
I
yeah.
took my earbuds out, so all I hear is separate the
Lobster
lobster
beaver.
beaver.
Yeah,
Except-
do it.
except-
Separate it.
Gulb's eyes get really big and then confused.
Let's see what you got,
Uh,
Yoshi.
Okay. So I'm not sure how to add the. I'll just do. I'll go like this. 3,
That's
7,
3 to hit?
9.
9
9.
to hit. Okay, you don't
Yeah.
hit him. It's a miss. But you do give bardic inspiration to Gulb, and it is still dark in here. Well, it's not dark; it's dim light. If anybody, so some of you can't see. This is just me table talking with you guys. But if you wanted to, you could help each other out. Okay, Gulb, your turn. You hear noise behind you, and also up on the
Gulb.
roof.
Yeah, so Gulb turns around and sees somebody being attacked, somebody in his group being attacked.
Sorry, yes, you do see that.
Okay.
Yoshka, you may also know, I don't know if you do or not, you may also know that if you took the circle off, it reverts back to a normal torch. Gulb?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I think Gulb is going to attempt to blind fight, and he's going to strike at this thing. So I think typically there's like a 50-50 chance of hitting. That's a one way that D&D handles blind fighting. But you tell me, I'm going to attack this thing.
Okay, 1 second and I will tell you.
You can see it by dim light, the same dim light that Neno saw it by.
Yeah, you can turn and see it if you want by dim light.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. Okay. Sure. So he will.
It did not
That's good
trigger
to know,
your
Spilvari, then.
it did not trigger your readiness because you were facing the wrong way for it, but it did.
Sure.
You will be able to turn and see it.
Sure. All right. So that's a 21 to hit
That hits.
With the maul.
with the maul, and you hear a sound as it takes 7 points of damage.
7 points of damage. Okay.
Thumping damage.
Squishing damage.
So Gulb turns around and has this big, hefty stone maul, and he just puts his full force into just crushing this thing. He manages to land a really solid blow on it. The creature is very, very wounded and unhappy and surprised by this sudden thing from the door. It lets out a loud screeching noise, and yeah, that's it for that. It just screeches loudly as Gulb hammers it down.
So I think, yeah, okay. Very good. That's all I'll do then.
Okay, Neno, your turn.
I think I am fanning up the fire at this point, trying to get more light happening.
Okay, roll me a sleight of hand to see how nimbly and quickly you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give you
17.
50. Well, okay, that passes. I was going to say I'm going to give you 50-50 on whether you can do it. You have gotten a nice flicker going, and it is now a normal bright light in here. Everybody can see this creature.
And also, just for imagery, I wear a lot of skirts, so it was a big fan fanning this sucker up.
So Neno uses the cloth she's got draped on her, and she's furiously fanning this, and gets a nice big billowy fire coming up. You can now clearly see this horrid creature. It's got sort of pincher mouth, mandibles, mangy fur coming out of it. It's a grotesque creature, clearly from the Fae, and it is distorted and ugly looking. It is now the creature's turn. sorry. This creature, shrieking at having been hurt so badly, it actually turns to the fire and glares backward. Like it not glares. It recoils from the fire, from the brightness of the fire, and scampers towards the door. On its way it runs to Gulb, who is at the door. It's a relatively small room.
It's passing out of melee range from me and Yoshka.
And Neno and Belvari.
The dagger's coming out.
Sure.
Belvari is already used to
Do I get an opportunity attack?
First, it's going to attack Gulb, and then you'll get your opportunity attack.
You might not get your opportunity attack.
Let's see, and it says...
But wouldn't it make sense for us to get an opportunity attack when it moves, and it moves before it attacks?
Gulb is within striking range of it, and it is within striking range of Gulb. It attacks and scampers by. They're just having a claw fight. He's having a claw fight. Gulb is having a maul fight. Let's see.
You brought a claw to a mall fight, fool. You gotta get squished.
Cinnabon.
And does an 8 hit Gulb?
No.
All right.
Not by half.
It uses its big pincher type of things, and it just scrabbles at your scale mail, but can't find a good nook to grab into, and then moves over towards Gulb to try to get through the door. It does not get past Gulb. It's like still there with Gulb, but it's moving out of range for Diamondback. Actually, I guess I don't know. Can it move past Gulb if he's big and in the way?
How big is it?
It's small.
Size.
Small.
Okay, things that are 2 sizes smaller can move through another.
But you're medium.
You're medium.
Oh, I'm medium and it's small, so no. Not without. Yeah, I think it can make an athletics check to try to get by me.
It could try to tackle him out of the way with an athletics check, but it's already used its action to attack.
Yeah, no, it just tries to. It is just trying to attack you and get out because it feels trapped.
Can Gulb allow it to pass by so that he can attack it?
On your turn, you could do something like move out of the way and such, but that's not really what's happening here.
Okay.
You attack it, it slashes back at you. Okay, it is Diamondback, Neno, Belvari, and Yoshka can each have an opportunity attack.
Okay.
20.
That hits.
3 plus 3 is 6. It takes 6 damage. This sharp serpent's tooth shaped dagger comes out and stabs in a swift sort of like snake bite motion right into it.
So Diamondback pulls this sharp, wickedly curved dagger out. It's almost as fast as he was going with his component pouch, and you can tell he's done this before. It is spinning and spinning, like he pulls it out almost like a gunslinger twirling its gun till it gets in position, and it continues that circular motion and just stabs deftly into the shoulder, ripping through part of the back muscle of this creature, doing significant damage to it. Aaron Joy cannot quite connect right now for some reason. Why don't we have Yoshka do it?
10.
10 does not hit. Yoshka has his weapon and he swings at it, but... Sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Is there any difference between attacking from the front and attacking from behind?
I don't think so in 5e. Is there, guys?
There are optional rules that let you play it in ways like that, but they're not very convenient for theater of the mind talking. Okay. They're more convenient for like tabletop if you have a grid in front of you, which we don't. So I've never used them before, but they're available.
Okay. So Yoshka takes a good solid swing, but it's a glancing blow at best, and as it recoils from Diamondback's stab, it's no longer quite where Yoshka was expecting. It just misses him. Belvari?
12.
12 does not hit. Belvari also gets in there for a good attack and does it. Your dog, is he going to bite or is he going to what?
Yeah, give him a little bite.
Okay, will you roll for that for me?
Sure. I'll roll a d20 and you can
Sure, let's do that.
14.
Does not quite get him. The dog growls, makes a snap at it, but it doesn't quite hit him. But he just is vicious, trying to scare him as well. Aaron Joy, it's your turn. You have an opportunity attack. Just take an attack of a physical attack on this creature.
Physical attack. Okay.
Do you have a weapon?
If you have,
I have a weapon.
Or you can headbutt it if you want to be extreme.
I don't want to be extreme. Okay, this will probably need to get cut, but I think that I have a blade that